Since I've been on a crazy kick of making all kinds of papers for my journals and having a ton of fun with it, I thought I would share some with you. Today I'm going to make papers using napkins. This is the top layer and one other layer of napkin. And as you can see, it makes it really nice and sturdy. And best of all, they have a great crunching sound. I've used napkins, I've added holes. This is the the middle napkin where you can see the print. That sometimes they are really cool too. And this one was just 2 layers of the white part from the napkin where I scrambled up and then sprayed it with some coffee. Oh, another lovely one. So if you want to learn how to do this, it's super easy. I'm going to show you, but I'm going to warn you, it's addictive. And I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm outside in the garden because it makes hanging these out to dry much easier. It seems for some reason there's planes flying over us like crazy today. Go figure. Normally I don't hear them, and today, since I want to make a video, I guess they're all out practicing or something. So please apologize the overhead noise. I will try to get rid of some of it, but yeah, editing and videos are relatively new to me. So okay, hang on, and I'm going to show you what you're going to need. You're going to need a few supplies, and most of them you should have at home. But disclosure, I didn't come up with this technique. I found it on YouTube, of course. Where else do you find all kinds of cool videos? I watched 2 videos, one by a lady, I don't know her name, but her YouTube channel is Book and Paper Arts, and she did it with napkins and with napkins and I think tissue paper, but we'll come to that one. And I used her recipe for the glue. Another lady I watched was Louisa Janetta. I hope I'm not butchering her name, and she used wallpaper paste as the glue. I have used wallpaper paste in the past, but I like this version of glue, I think, a little better. So now that I got that out of the way, oh, and I will put links to their YouTube channels below. And now let's get our supplies together. We're gonna need napkins, of course. You know those pretty ones you've been hoarding? Time to dig them out. You're gonna finally use them. And you're going to need to make a glue. And this glue is made from cornstarch and cold water. That's it. I took, for this recipe, I used 20 grams of the cornstarch. I put it through a sieve so there wouldn't be no clumps. And then I added 300 milliliters of cold water. And with a whisk, you do this on the stove because you have to cook it. And you cook it till it gets thick like a pudding, as you can see. And see, the lady on Books and Paper Arts YouTube video, she only used 250 milliliters of water, and I found it rather chunky, so I added a little more water, and I find it works really well. So this is your paste, just cornstarch and cold water. You do have to bring it to boil and let it simmer a few minutes so it's nice and thick, and then let it cool. I make these first thing in the morning, and I'm told it will hold in the fridge for 2 to 3 days, but I always end up using all of it before the day's out. So that's the glue. We have the serviettes in the glue and some gloves if you don't like to get your hands gooey, a rag, and you're going to need baking paper. I think in the US you call it parchment paper or something. We use it here in Germany to put on our pans when we're baking some so they don't stick. I find this works the best. Okay, so let's move this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to do. Sorry for the sounds. I lay my baking paper down. I don't need gloves. And then you're going to take your napkins and you're going to separate the layers. I'm sure everyone knows this trick. To separate the layers, I just take a piece of masking tape and I just put it on the edge, and then I just slightly pull. It will rip the corner, but it doesn't matter. And then I pull the first layer off. and repeat, because there's always, usually there's 3 layers. And oops, ta-da. And see how I mentioned the second layer a lot of time has a second imprint? This makes, you can use this too, just with the white version, and you have a lighter tissue paper background. Okay, I have my parchment paper down, and now I'm going to take some of my goopy cornstarch glue, and I'm going to smear some on the parchment paper the size of the napkin. So basically almost the whole thing. I use pre-cut baking paper. I don't know whether to call it parchment paper or baking paper. Let me know what you call in your country. We call it the bakpapya. So I make that nice and wet, and you want to do that so that the white, the back side of the tissue of the napkin doesn't fly away on you. You'll see. And then I place it down, and and I spread it out with my fingers. And now comes the goopy part. You're going to apply lots of, well, lots is not the right word. You want to coat the napkin so it's nice and wet, so the next layer sticks to it. And if there's some little bloopers in there, little chunkies, don't worry about them. They seem to disappear in drying. But, you know, if there's real big ones, do pick them out. So I coat the whole page gently, but still firmly. Working from the middle outward is always best. And sometimes your paper is going to rip on you. Depends on the quality of the napkin. I've had some put up with my strokes and some have ripped, but that's okay. Since I use these for fodder and plan on ripping it apart anyways, it doesn't bother me if they're not whole. This looks like it's got folds in it. It doesn't. It's got little hills. Probably didn't get it wet there. Even if you get some folds in it and wrinkles, it doesn't matter. It adds to the character, trust me. Now you take the top layer, the thin one, and you're going to lay it, or try to lay it, on top of the previous layer. Now, you basically only have one chance. Once it's down, you cannot lift this up. And smooth it out. And basically that's it. And once again, apply this magic glue all over the napkin. And what this does is it adheres the 2 layers together. Didn't I tell you this was super easy? Oh, I forgot to mention this is super addicting. Once you start, the ideas and possibilities will run through your head. Now, that's basically it. Now oops, sorry for my arm. That's it. It's all glued, but I will go around either on one corner or on all corners with my brush and tap it at the edges a little bit. It gives it a cool ruffled edge, so when it's dry, and it makes it easier. Oh, there go my papers. Makes it easier to get off of the off of the baking paper, parchment paper. But it does come off really easy. It's unbelievable, but it does. Now, there you go. Now, normally I would take this and hang this on my clothesline to dry. But if you want to add holes to it, oh, I forgot my, okay, I forgot my putty knife. If you want to add holes, all you do is while it's wet, okay, I'm going to use my fingers, sorry, is create little holes. I'm going to do it in this one. So it's going to give it the, and it will dry. I said you get goopy. You can use a putty knife or something if you don't like to touch wet paper. I think I'm a kindergartner still at heart because I love muching and things and getting my hands dirty. A lot of times my hands are so colorful that I have to remind myself if I have an appointment the next day to put gloves on. One time I was dyeing papers. They were blue and purple and pink. They were so bright you wouldn't believe it. Then I remembered as I was going to bed, I have to go to my gynecologist tomorrow. I think they're used to it, seeing me with weird hands. But there you go. And that's it. And now I will hang it on my clothesline to dry. And it dries rather quite quickly, especially with this heat wave we're having again this week. But I also want to tell you, you can create fabric doing this. I have taken a thin muslin, or I use the cotton.Let fabric from IKEA, the white one and the beige one, and I cut it to the size I wanted, and I glue it just like I did here. But the bottom layer, I use the cotton fabric, and then I lay the napkin on top and glue it, and you have fabric. I will try to see if I know how to put a picture in to show you how it turns out. I unfortunately didn't bring a piece down in the garden. But that's the whole process. I told you it was super fast and easy. So now grab those napkins you have and make some with them. These will make great pages in journals or on tags and stuff. And like I said, they're addicting and fun to do. Okay, my papers are dry and I'm inside now, but I just wanted to quickly show you how easy they are to take off. This is going to be loud and noisy, so plug your ears. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do with one hand. And there's the paper I showed you how to do with the, that I put the holes in it, see? Isn't that cool? Now you can cut this out. And here is the ones I made with fabric. Plug your ears. There you go. Look at that. The napkin is fused to the fabric. Isn't that cool? See? Now either I can cut it apart or use it as a little cover. The possibilities are endless. Just wanted to share that with you. Sorry for all the noise and the shaking probably of this of the camera, but it's hard to do one-handed. Okay, hope that inspired you, and off to do the video of the lacy papers with rope and string. Part 2 coming right up. Tschüss.